Greetings, Aztec families. Mr. Zoomstein, proud principal of Montgomery High School. So I want to just go over my principal's message for today's Coffee with the Principal meeting. So I want to start off with thanking you for taking the time to access this recorded video. And to those that were here present this morning, I want to thank you for being here. So the first message I have is in regards to community schools. We have taken all of your input on the surveys from parents or families, kids and staff, and we completed the application, and that was turned in earlier in February. Now we're at a point where we're just waiting for the state to give us a decision on our application. We should know that on May 7th. And once we get that information, we'll share it with you. But we really have high hopes for getting that grant and being able to provide a lot of the services that you had wanted in your surveys. And actually, it was good to see in reading the surveys, the parents and the student surveys really mirrored themselves in the sense that both groups really wanted additional mental health services, but the biggest thing being opportunities, whether it be experiences, courses, internships, things that really helped not only support the college pathway, but the career pathway through different avenues, such as some of our hands-on job careers or opportunities like plumbing, an electrician, mechanics, things that may not require a four-year degree, but require certain experiences and internships. So we hope we get that grant, and we'll share more information after May 7th. The next thing we want to talk about is grades and then our seniors. So progress reports are handed out today, which is Friday, February 28th, and those will go home with students. So we hope that that's an opportunity you take to have conversations with your children, in the hopes that if the grades are not what they would like or you would like, that you have those conversations and you have plenty of time to make those corrections, adjustments, communications that maybe need to happen between the student and the teacher. But we would like you to have conversations with students, and I have conversations with my own daughter who's a junior here, and I have to kind of tone myself down and come at it a little differently, rather than just saying, why did you get this grade? You're better than that, to more of, hey, what happened? How can I help you? What are you doing differently to maybe fix that grade or work on that grade? So when we kind of come with that tone or that approach, I think our kids are much more open to talk about grades, okay? And then, as always, the most current grade can be found on Jupiter. So the grades that you're receiving a hard copy of today, those progress reports, the deadline for turning those in was Wednesday. So more than likely those are at least a few days old, if not possibly a week, okay? And then for seniors, going back to grades, this progress report also is used for eligibility purposes with our student athletes. So if they don't have a 2.0, then they would be ineligible to compete in athletics. And we know how important students be involved in either clubs, extracurricular activities, but especially athletics is to their success in high school. And we know our athletic teams and the students that are on them have a higher collective GPA than the rest of the school. So being on those teams does have impact in the classroom. And then for our senior parents and seniors, this is beginning to be an emotional time for them. I think it's finally hitting them that they've got 3 months left, and then they're off to the real world, quote unquote. And we want to make sure that we're taking care of our seniors. The best thing that you can do is listening and being informed. You can be informed of all the senior deadlines and things that they need to do in our WAG. Towards the bottom is the senior section. If you look on the left-hand section of the WAG, you can also click on the different headings and go straight to that senior section. That is probably the one thing that you can do that will support them the most, is just making sure you're informed on what's going on, and they are too, especially the deadlines. When you know and you're prepared for those things, that just takes off a layer of nervousness and anxiety. And then, as always, you can connect with us if you have further questions, okay? Next up, we want to talk about our boys basketball team. So we're super excited. Tonight, they travel to Oceanside. At 8 o'clock, they will face Carlsbad in the Open Division final for CIF. So the Open Division is comprised of the top 8 teams in the entire county. And so we have been ranked number 1 through the entire year, which is no easy task. We've also are currently ranked number 12 in the state and have even at one point been ranked in the top 100 in the nation. So we're very proud of our team, who collectively also holds over a 3.5 GPA, and we want to show our support to them by attending tonight's game. We offered free tickets to students yesterday and a free bus ride. And students, if they turned in permission slips this morning, they were able to attend through that bus. And it's a charter bus and a free game ticket. All that we asked was for that permission slip and for them to wear navy blue tonight. And because we only have limited seats, we are also offering to any student that makes their way up to Front Wave Arena in Oceanside tonight, if they meet us there before 7:45 at the entrance, we'll get them a ticket in for free. So a super exciting time. This is actually unprecedented that our boys have made it for the 3rd consecutive year. So we're really proud and want to see our support for them tonight. And then just quickly, we have 2 things to remind you about. Adelante Latino is tomorrow at UCSD. Our bus leaves at 7 in the morning. There is a link in the slides. The next slide will show you to have a form filled out so your child can attend. It's a great opportunity for kids to learn about leadership, understand their strengths, and kind of network with other students from around the district. And then as well as being on the campus of UCSD, it just brings, kind of gives them a goal that they can have now visually in their mind of where they may want to be after they complete high school. And then we also have a link to this. Obviously, you have accessed it, so you know where that link is to this recorded meeting. And just want to say thank you for all your support and trusting us with your kids, and hope that you have a wonderful Friday and weekend. Thank you.
Good morning, buenos dias. I'll speak in English, but every so often I'm going to throw some Spanish in there, okay? Sorry, Miss Cindy. Sorry, I told my parents the other day at family circles that I speak Spanglish, and then I use my hands too. So I do all of that. So thank you, Mr. Zoomstein, for the introduction. So my name is Berenice Hernandez Herrera. I am the founder of an organization by the name of Wishwell. We are an empowerment coaching center for kids, teens, and families. Our goal and our mission at Wishwell is to build strong families and build strong support and empowerment for kids. Oh, put this on here. Oh, fancy. Okay, I can yell, but there you go. Is that good? We're good? Yes? It's on? We're good? Okay. So we've had the pleasure of being here a few times for Wishwell Family Circles. We were just here a few days ago. When was that? Tuesday? Monday? It's Tuesday. And then we were here last semester. And we had an amazing group of parents, parent-child, husband, other child, right? And little pods. One of our mamas that was here was part of Family Circle. So our mission at Wishwell is to empower families and to empower parents and to also empower students and kids, right? The world is hard. The world is hard. The world is hard. I was a school counselor for nearly 25 years. I worked in education for nearly 30. I've been around the block in education, so I've had my experiences of understanding the community needs. And with that experience, I got to a point where I felt there needed to be more programs that were more geared towards empowerment, positivity, that weren't associated necessarily with like the therapy model. And so for us, we're not a team of therapists. We are a team of empowerment coaches. A lot of our coaches are also school counselors, right? So what we are doing today is we're talking about a sensitive talk about thriving through adversity. Thriving through adversity sounds, sometimes it could sound a little heavy, but we're going to break it down. When we want to connect with our kids, we're not going to go to our kids and say, hey, how was your day? Tell me everything, right? They're going to totally shut us down. They're going to be like, oh, mom, oh, dad. They're going to shut us down, right? So what we have to do is we have to sometimes be a little sneaky, right? Yes, I'm saying we're got to be a little sneaky. But at the core of it all, what really is needed to build a strong bond between a parent and a child is that we need to connect with them, right? In order to have conversations about how to thrive through adversity, we have to learn how to connect with our kids. And it's a skill. So at Wishful, we coach parents on skills, right? So we're a skills-based center, and we stack skills. So I'm gonna share some things with you that you can do. I'm not gonna stand up here and give you hypotheticals and just kind of like preach about what you should do as a parent, but we're gonna give you actual things that you can do that make this process so much easier. Yes, so we have English and we have Spanish. Can I get one of each? Let me grab one. So we're gonna start off. Yeah, so I don't think none of the parents got them. Sorry. Mr. Z is gonna help us out. We have a Spanish and an English version. And perfect. Awesome. Because we want to be very intentional on connecting with our kids, we have to create the space. We have to create the moments for that to happen. Connection will not happen if it's not intentionally practiced. You know what I mean? We have to practice how to connect with our kids. It's not going to happen from one day to the other. It takes a lot of baby steps to develop a big connection with our kids. And so through our work at Family Circles, that's it's another way to start that foundation of building trust. This is another great practice and a skill that as parents we can work with our kids. We can do with our kids. So we've been doing across the school district. So Wishful works within the schools as well. We've gone to 14 different schools, and this parent challenge, it's called Disconnect to Reconnect. Okay, so what it is we have given this challenge a purpose. The purpose is to build connections with our kids. But how are we going to do that? We're going to do that by having a very simple set of things that we could do, right? In parenting, one of the things that I really focus on a lot is, as a parent, when we develop curiosity, we've won the game. I like to say, as a parent, we need to be more curious and less furious. We need to be more curious as parents and less furious. When we develop curiosity as a parent, we're able to unlock this connection and conversations with our kids because we're coming from a place of curiosity and not a place of just like frustration, right? When I have I've got 3 kiddos. Okay, I have a 19-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 14-year-old. So I am in the way like you guys are, right? I have to practice curiosity, more curiosity and less furiousness for me. I have to practice that because when I do, it allows me to have more in-depth conversations with my kids. It does. And so sometimes I will admit I'm not perfect, and sometimes I pass curiosity, go straight to furious, and then I realize, oh, man, I screwed this one up, right? Backtrack. I have to backtrack. So when we practice being more curious and less furious, we're then able to have, we're able to build trust in the present moment and trust in the future, right? And when we find ourselves in moments of crisis, in moments of adversity, it's because we have practiced curiosity that will allow us to have these hard conversations with our kids, because it allows them to feel that we are not coming from a place of judgment. Kids shut down because they feel judged. Kids shut down because they feel ashamed. Kids shut down because they feel misunderstood. Kids shut down because they feel that we are going to judge them. So remember, Ms. Herrera said, parenting, be more curious and less furious, because when we are curious, it allows for that conversation. And so what we have here today is a parent challenge. And on the bottom, you're going to see there's a little hashtag. We created a hashtag for you, Mr. Z. Hashtag parent, what does it say? Hashtag MOH Parent Challenge 2025. Okay? This parent challenge has been happening in other schools. And so it's great to be able to have the space for you guys to participate in something that's good for you and your family and your kids, and then part of the school. So what is this?
Share this.
Absolutely, share it online,
and the website.
everywhere. And what I should have done is I should have taken off the year, so, but it's good, right? So I have a question. Okay, my question is, can you tell me if I have any brave parents? If not, then I got you. I'll help you, okay? But can someone share with me what they feel? What is the difference between spending quality time with our kids versus spending quantity time? Okay, you want to volunteer? Okay, go for it. What is the difference?
Okay, the difference is, well, I'll use myself as an example. My daughter's here, so we spend a lot of time together.
Quantity.
There's a lot of quantity, but our exchanges are more surface level. Where are you going right now? Did you do your work? Are you ready for practice? Did you get everything? Are you ready? Are you on time? And it's more, and which often leads to me being furious
and not curious.
And not curious. So.
You go straight to the okay. Okay, so that's a perfect example, right? Any other examples? Yes, over there. Go for it.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of time with my son going to and from baseball. We would spend hours in the car, and it would just be, I would start with the furious, right? Like asking him basic questions, and I would get so upset that I was like silent the rest of the time, which is now, thanks to some coaching and listening and trying to be more curious, our conversations are more meaningful in the car. So now he's gone away to college, so my time with him is a lot less. So now I try to be more mindful of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like driving in the car. All those
Exactly.
years I drove him to school in the morning, it was silent a lot of the time.
Agreed. Any other? No, and that's a great example that I always like to use is you're driving in the car from here, to, wherever, 2-hour car drive. You're spending time together. You're spending a lot of time together. So it could be interpreted as, I spend time with them. We just did this together. We drove from here, to Disneyland together, right? But there was no connection. There was no conversation. And I'm guilty of that. That happens. One, because sometimes, they'll do their things, and remember, I have teenagers, right? And I shut down, and I got to remember, Vere, you got to be more curious, right? And so the reason that I bring that up is because we sometimes as parents just need the space to process what that looks like for us and to have the moment to be more reflective, because typically we are like this all day long. And so right now, in these next few minutes, focus on that reflective piece is really important. So another example, yes.
Quería dar un ejemplo de mejoría.
Por favor, sí, yes, I love.
Cuando uno está en la mesa comiendo,
Ajá.
hay una calidad de tú le estás dando de comer al niño, ¿no?
Sí.
Y estás gastando un tiempo. Y a veces en ese tiempo es, no sé cuál es la otra palabra, pero
La
para
calidad
platicar,
contra la cantidad, ¿verdad?
para poder platicar con él las cosas importantes que a veces ese tiempo es en el momento.
Muy cierto. Y eso es algo que como papá a veces no pensamos mucho, ¿verdad? Porque siempre andamos en la carrera. So the comment was that during dinner time, it's a great time to be intentional and have conversations, because dinner time is a perfect example that you could spend time together. It could be quantity time, but you're just eating, or they're on their phone scrolling, or the TV is on and you're not connecting, right? So this challenge speaks to that. It speaks to, we want to challenge you and to be mindful of how to convert quantity time to quality time, right? So sitting at the dinner table, perfect example, right? Like checking in, but you can't check in and be like, how was your day today? Because they're gonna be like, fine, right? It's about being curious, right? So, what crazy thing happened at school today? That's curiosity, because you're genuinely interested, you're curious. So finding those little hooks that express curiosity is what allows the flow of the conversations, which then in turn allows the flow of the connection, right? So dinner time, perfect example. The car ride, another perfect example, right? Finding the moments to connect. So for example, the car ride, if you're together in silence, it's quantity. How do we convert that to quality time? So the quality time can be like, and then you share, you become vulnerable. You know what happened the other day at work? Something happened and something that was hard, and it really kind of like hurt my feelings. And how do I handle this? Ask, connect, right? Like you show the vulnerability, because what you're doing is you're modeling that for your kids. We want them to be vulnerable with us, and guess what? We have to be vulnerable with them. It's an equal exchange that we then have to practice, right? So be mindful of those connections, and it could be as simple as, and you don't even have to talk in the car to connect. I'm going to give you an example. I was at East Lake High School the other day, and one of the parents said something that it like shook me. It shook me, and I got a little emotional, and then a few of us even cried. She said the simplest thing, and I was like, wow. She said, in my car, when I pick up my kids from school, we always drive home in silence, and I don't connect with them. So what I started to do is when they get in the car, I could sense their energy. I could sense the frustration. I could sense it, but I couldn't talk them out of it. So what I do now, when my daughter gets in the car, when I pick her up after school, and I know that she's overwhelmed, we drive in silence, but I hold her hand. And I don't say anything. I just hold her hand. And for me, you see, I get emotional now. She's like, I just hold her hand. Because all I'm doing is I am just connecting with my kid, and I'm not saying anything. But they know that I'm here. And I'm like, oh my God, right? I was like, how powerful, because it is so true. So I do that now. I do that, and I've got 3 boys, and so they look at me, and they don't say anything, and they don't move their hand. And so in the morning when I drive them to school, I'll hold their hand every so often, right? And their hands are big, because they're, you know what I mean? And I sometimes I'll even cry as I'm holding their hand, and they're like, they don't say anything to me, they don't move their hand, they don't make fun of me because I'm crying, they just let me. And those are the moments that, you see? Okay, you see what I mean? We have to be creative and be curious and not be afraid to do these simple things that translate into connection, right? So this is why we have this, because in order to connect, in order for us to have conversations, we have to build connections. So this is a simple challenge, right? What it basically says is that we're giving you 4 examples of how to connect with your kids, right? Board night. You're in the space together, you're having fun. You don't have to have deep conversations. You have to be curious and just have fun. Fun is a pathway to connection. And it also makes you seem cool, right? Like kids want to have fun. And so we have to do things that are fun. So that's an example. Another one is going on walks together. The great thing about going on walks together is that you're not looking at each other. When you look at your kids in their eye, it's hard for them because you're telling them, I want you to be vulnerable with me, and I'm asking you a question, and the pressure of the world is on their shoulders, and they're like, and they shut down, they don't know what to say. So, but when you're walking, you're not looking at each other, right? So you're walking and practice being curious, and then practice being vulnerable with them, and they will begin to learn because of your modeling, right? The other one is, go on a date, go to Starbucks. Order a crazy drink, right? Like my son likes the vanilla cream crunch with soy and no cream. And so I'm like, at the beginning he wanted me to order that for him, and I was like, let's, you practice it. I'm going to coach you, you practice. So it becomes like a fun little, like a little, time to bond, right? And then movie date. So this one's an interesting one, okay? Because this one This one, and I added it on there because I wanted to talk about it. So movie time. Movie time can be considered spending quality time because you're together, but you're not really connecting because you're just kind of sitting, right? But the build up to the movie time is the piece of connection, right? The build up. So for us, we have a tradition. Traditions are great moments for connection. We have a tradition that on Fridays, we do Friday family movie night. We've done that since my kids were little. So every Friday, that's just our tradition, right? So we like the whole week, we're like, well, what are we gonna watch on Friday, right? Or, oh, I wanna watch this movie. Okay, and then we're conversating, right? We're a family of 5. What kind of popcorn are we gonna make? Oh, let's do this one, let's do that one, right? Or what snacks are we gonna have? Or what are we gonna have to do while we're watching the movie? And then like we're intentional about the movies that we pick. But if we're out going to the movie theater, like the card right there, like we are focusing on the anticipation and the connection until we get there, right? So it's not just the destination, right? It's the journey. It's the journey to those things that we have to sometimes take a pause and be like, okay, I may need to readjust and do things a little bit differently or more intentional. So on the bottom of this parent challenge, we have suggestions, right? Pause and be present. That's exactly what I was talking about right now. Sometimes we do have to pause. We have to pause and sometimes be present. For me, I'm a very hyper person. For those who have worked with me, know this part of me. I am a little hyper. And I'm go, go, go. I'm go, go, go. And I now realize that really is a privilege to be that way. For me, I had to learn how to pause and be present when my son was diagnosed with a heart condition. He was diagnosed with a heart condition, a random appointment, and it changed our lives. It changed our lives completely. And it's not until you're faced with real big circumstances that sometimes we are thrusted and forced to pause and be present. And so I encourage all of you to not wait until a big life circumstance happens for us to pause and be present. Because I've now learned what pausing and being present means. And my son is doing great, but it was a challenging experience for us. But I could say that now I am a very present person because I don't have the luxury of just boom, 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 which is amazing because I had it for many years. And so now life throws us curveballs sometimes and forces us to be present. But if I could share anything with you is to take the opportunities you have right now and pause and be present and be curious with your kids and connect with them on that level, right? So that is one skill and virtue that I would pass on, right? Reflect and validate. Reflect and validate is part of curiosity, right? It's part of curiosity. Reflect and validate is not when they tell us something, we tell them how to fix it. We tell them what they did wrong. We tell them what they could have done better, what they should have done better, what they didn't do right, what they, how they could have, done something different. That's typically as parents, like that's what we think parenting is, right? But it's really not. I'm sorry, but it's not, right? So we have to reflect and validate. And then the last one, right, is listening without judgment. Again, listening without judgment is focusing on being a parent that focuses on curiosity more and being less furious. So remember, it's important that as a parent, we focus on being more curious and less furious. And with that, this challenge is one that we would implore you to practice, right, to do. And as you're going through these little experiences, take a snapshot that you can then, hashtag and put MOM Parent Challenge 2025 to build that school connectedness, right? Any other questions for me? I don't know how long I took. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Am I good? Okay. Any questions for me? No? Yes.
What would be your suggestion when you're listening without judgment or fixing it? If there's something that you have to correct or talk about, so what would be the good point to talk about the correction?
So it's important that the correction,
Or at least not correction, but, talking about it, like,
Yeah.
advising about it.
this is what I always do. And I feel like it's helped me as a parent, is I ask, when I find that they are in a difficult situation, I ask them, how can I help you? Do you need for me to listen to you? Do you need for me to give you advice? Or what do you need from me? How can I help you? What it does is it gives them the not the power, but it gives them the space to then reflect and ask us what they need from us. And we have to trust them. It's hard. It's really hard. But they're their own person. And we want them to be successful. We want them to fail while they're at home, because in that failure, they're safe with us. But if we don't practice that and they fail when they're not at home, that's going to be hard, right? So we have to kind of pick our heart as a parent sometimes. It may be hard for us to see them fail, see them make a bad decision. Now, mind you, right? Decisions that are in large consequence, then you need support. You need to reach out to someone to support you and guide you through that. But our kids are meant to make mistakes. And as parents, we are trying to avoid them making mistakes. But the reality is they need to make them, because courage happens because of the pressure of those mistakes. They have to practice those. So as parents, when we want them to do certain things, we have to have them want to do those things first. You know what I mean? It has to become intrinsic. It has to become part of them. So I would recommend, ask them, I hear you're going through this situation. Do you need for me to help you, give you advice? How can I support you? And, and with that practice, the hope is that they let us into their world. It's not going to happen the first time, right? We're going to have to prove also that we can be more curious and less furious. But at one point, if you're consistent on that, in that kind of tone of conversation, then the goal and the expectation is for them to be like, well, I really need this. Or I need for you to let me do it. And when that happens, you need to hold on to another parent's hand, because it's hard. It's really hard, but it's also really necessary for their development, right? We can't be afraid of them failing. Now, failing classes, failing those things, that's the destination. The journey, there are little things we could do to avoid those big things, right? And so for us, we just see the big thing and we're like, oh, I should have done one thing to avoid that big thing. But in reality, it's a lot of little things that we could do to avoid the big thing. Does that make sense? Yeah. I got you, I hear you, Mama. It's not easy. Any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you for your time. Oh, you guys are amazing. I always love coming here. I'll take these. Oh, yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
We have the 4th. We do for the, is it the 3rd? No, what day is it?
It's the 4th.
The 4th, and then 2 weeks after the 18th.
So for the 4th, it's a longer workshop.
Oh, no worries. Thank you, Ms. Tracy.
We're going to have it in the afternoon at 5:30 in case you can.
Yes.
Just like that.
I'm sure you'll cover it, but we did have a question on current senior requirements for community service hours.
Okay, I can start with that because I actually did not have it in the presentation. But for community service hours for seniors, and actually all the way through the 9th graders too, from here on out, it's 10 hours.
Oh,
so
it is 10, okay.
it's,
I thought 10 started next year, so.
No, so for current seniors, it's 10, and then for every grade level from now on, it's 10 hours by the time they graduate. So over the course.
I was sure of, I was not.
Yeah.
I have
Yes.
a question.
Uh-huh.
We usually go for vacations back at my mom's at Orange County. And
Okay.
I was wondering if there's any problem if he completes his community hours over there.
As
Or
long
do
as
they
it's a
have to be-
nonprofit, I think it's just in California, right? So as long as it's for a nonprofit and they're volunteering, then he should be able to.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can run it by the counselor or the social science teacher first. There's a form, and they'll sign off on it just to double check. But but it should be okay. Okay. So what I put together was just kind of an overview of graduation requirements and some of the things to think about going into junior and senior year later, so looking ahead. So for graduation, we have the 44 credits that they need in order to graduate. It's 4 years of social science, 4 years of English, 3 years of math, 2 years of science. For world language, it's 2 years, or some of our students here are pretty proficient in another language, and so if they test into the higher level courses, they really only need the 1 year. Visual and performing arts, they need 1 year. For electives, it's 7 semesters just to make up the rest of those 44 credits. PE is 2 years, it's 9th grade and 10th grade, and then they need 1 semester of health. Graduation requirements are to get their high school diploma. A through G, this is if they want to go to a 4-year university right after high school. So we put them side by side so you can see that all of what they need to go to university is already wrapped into their graduation requirements. It's just up to them to get C's or higher, ideally A's and B's, right? But C being the minimum. So as long as they're getting good grades in their classes, they're automatically meeting those college admissions requirements. Okay. Any questions on this one? Okay. And how much time do I have so that I'm about 7 minutes? Okay. 5, okay. I can. Okay, so this, is it sent to them too? Yeah. Okay, so you'll have this, but Compact for Success is our agreement with San Diego State University for students that are here since 9th grade. They have to be enrolled grades 9 through 12. Their junior and senior year, they need to show that they're ready in both English and math. And there's different ways that they do that, either through tests or through their classes. They have to complete the A through G requirements with C's or higher. For current 9th and 10th graders, it's a 3.5 GPA that they're going to need by the start of their senior year. They have to meet the SDSU admissions deadline, so apply on time. And this is how they get that guaranteed admission to San Diego State University. It does not cover nursing programs or performing arts. Nursing is just really competitive, and performing arts, they need to audition, right? So they have to show that they can dance or sing or get more experience if they're interested in one of these careers. Each of them has different certifications that they get at the end to help them in whichever pathway. Okay. And academies and AVID, so we have AOJ and KMMI are our 2 academies. They are 3-year programs that start in 10th grade if students want to join. Academy of Justice is the legal system, law enforcement. KMMI is multimedia, so television production, graphic design. In these academies, they're in multiple classes together. So in 10th grade, it's their English class, their history class, science, and the elective. Same as 11th grade. Senior year, it's only English and their elective, so it opens up. They have more options. AVID, they can be in grades 9 through 12. If they are wanting to do it their senior year, they have to start it by grade 11. And in that course, it helps them to just prepare for college readiness. So learning the skills, researching different majors and programs. Junior and senior year, they do a lot of work with scholarships, and senior year, financial aid, college applications, so just to support them in that college process. We do all that through counseling too. It just gives them a class during the day where they're really focused on it. Extra support. Just really quickly, different types of classes we have here. The grade level courses like English 11, world history, those ones give them everything they need for graduation, for college requirements. Honors courses are like accelerated high school classes, so they get the extra point in their GPA. It can bump them up, to be more competitive with their GPA, but it's more of a high school accelerated course. The AP courses are high school classes. They're taught by high school teachers, but they're taught at a college level. So those are even more advanced. They can earn college credit for the classes if they pass that AP exam in the spring. Our dual enrollment classes, these are the ones where it's a college class, it's taught by a college professor, they pass the class, they get college credit. Here we have the American Sign Language course, primarily for 11th graders, because that's when they would need to start their language by. But there are also options to take courses at the community college. Southwestern is the one we work with the most, and we can give that credit here. So sometimes students will take it over the summer, like Spanish 101, and it counts one semester as 4 years, or I'm sorry, not 4 years, as 4 semesters, the 2 years. So you can finish your world language with one college course. There's other options too in history, arts, all the different subjects where they can be dual enrolled. The courses are free if they take them through Southwestern, through our program. They just need to pay for any books or like extra supplies that go with it. So your student can, or you can talk to your student's counselor to get more information if you want to know about that. So you have like 1 minute. Okay. Summer school, so it's available, it's open. Online, they can sign up through Infinite Campus through March 21st. Your student can also just come talk to their counselor, or you can let us know and we can sign them up. Sometimes that's easier because we're going to go through and check all of them regardless, but just to make sure they're signing up for the right classes. It can be a little confusing when you go on there on your own, but that's open. You can reach out or have them reach out and we'll get them signed up. It will be at Mar Vista for our site this year. And this is really hard to see, I know, but it's from June 9th through June 27th. Okay. And I think that's about it, other than who everyone is. So in the counseling department, Dr. Silva has last names A through Espinosa with an S. For me, it's Espinosa with a Z through Lopez, first initial A. Miss Lopez has Lopez B through R-A-M-I, and then Miss Avalos is R-A-M-O through Z. Okay, and all of our emails and everything are on our counseling website, which is linked to the school website, along with information about everything else I talked about and more. Any questions? No? Okay. Thanks.
And lastly, we're going to have Miss Maria Barraza just really quickly talk to you. She brought some treats for you guys. She's talked to you about some, she's come from San Isidro Health Clinic, so she's going to briefly talk to you guys and to close out our meeting. Sure.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? Are you ready to go home and start your duties? Yes, my name is Maria Barraza, and I am coming from San Isidro Health with the Mobile Health Services. Have you ever seen our mobile clinics going around and around? Yeah. Okay, so we provide services to children that are 2 months of age to 17 years old. If your child, well, not child, your student is in high school, and he is 18 years old and is a sports physical, so we can still see them. But mostly our services for now are for 2 months of age to 17 years old. I'm going to pass flyers. We currently are going to Montgomery Middle School, but starting March, we are going to start coming here to your school also. So if your student needs any immunizations, physical exams, sports physicals, that I know that a lot of them practice sports, so we can do the sports physicals for your students as well, okay? So if you as an adult are going to volunteer or you're going to look for a job and you need a TB skin test, we do that for adults as well. Okay, and I know I have just a few minutes left, but we have different payments, different type of payments. So we take insured and uninsured students and babies. So if you want any more information, please give us a call and we can talk to you. If you're interested now, or if you know that your son or daughter needs a physical exam, immunizations, etc., you can talk to me and I can take your information and then I give you a call and talk more in depth about it. But I don't want to take much of your time. Please take one of these here. There is information. If you have children that are in sixth grade and they are going to be transitioning to middle school, they are required to have the Tdap immunization, the Tdap vaccine. And also if they are going to be going to camp, if they're going to be camping, they also need to have that vaccine. So there is more information in here, so please take it with you and take the flyers. The mobile units are on sites on the schools from 9 to 2:50. 9 o'clock is the first appointment, 2:50 is the last appointment. Our office hours are 8 to 4:30. You can give us a call, it's a direct number. You don't have to go from one extension to a different one. So press 1, press 2. This is a direct number where you can get a live person, and we are there until 4:30, okay? Any questions? No? Okay. So please come and take the flyers, take them with you, and if you know someone that may benefit from these services, please give us a call. If you want to make an appointment, please give us a call. Do we take walk-ins? We prefer you to call us. We can see your student within the same day or within the same week. I know that when we call the clinics, they take us like 2 or 3 months, but with us it's same day or within the same week. And the reason why I'm asking you to give us a call is because we go through a pre-screening process. That way, if you qualify, if you're eligible, once you come to the mobile clinic, you already come with an appointment schedule, okay? And we have different locations. We have 2 mobile units. We are at different locations every day. And we have different schedules. So that's why we also would like you to call us so we can give you the options and you can choose the best that it accommodates to your schedule. Okay, any questions? No? Okay, thank you. Okay.
There's a possibility that we're going to be expanding our partnership with them and could offer even more services in the future. So thank you.
Thank you guys again for being here. And if you can please fill out our feedback form. You know, like we try to bring you guys different speakers, different topics. So if you can tell us, you know, what type of things you or programs or who you guys would like to come and see, we can do that. So if you can just do the feedback. And we're going to open this gate on the side so you guys can walk out that way as well, too. Thank you guys for being here today.